Whoa, there's the music. Hey, welcome to Around the Blockchain. Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad. That threw me off. I didn't know what was going to happen. We were in silent mode for a second, but we're back. BJ figured it out. You can wipe the sweat from your brow. It's okay. Don't throw anything. It's fine. It's fine. We're gonna make it. It's been a great episode. All right, it's already an action-packed episode. Okay, hold on. I'm hearing myself. Hold on one second. Oh. All right. So I tried a new format to check YouTube chat, and of course, I didn't mute YouTube. It's just going to be one of those days, but you're ready for the best episode, period, ever. All right, this is Around the Blockchain. If you like what the people are saying, go ahead and give them a +1 in the chat. We got some great guests. We're going to talk about some great topics. We're going to start with the green man himself, Joe Parys. Look at that. You know what? It seems like it's green days when you're on. Is it the background? Is it your name?
No, I do my best.
It was all you. It was definitely all you. Mine Your Biz. Also, he just dropped a really good video about Intel. If you're into mining, go to his channel. All the links are going to be in the description below. Check it out. He's talking about Intel finally entering with some GPU mining. So major moves if you're into mining crypto. Also, we have CryptoWendyO. Make sure you check out her Twitter. I'm going to say it. She had a hot take on what is or isn't a simp. And she has a really good Twitter. It's always engaging with some hot button issues. And she speaks probably on the side of most people in crypto, but maybe counter to where she is living. And so it's really good takes. You'll definitely like it. But the big star, we got Altcoin Daily, just hit 1 million subs. I'm talking about you. No, this is a great congrats, man. Congrats. Anything you want to say, man?
I want to say thank you to the community. There's so many people that said, hey, I've been with you since 100K, since 200K, since 2019, whatever. There's a small portion as well that says, hey, I'm with you from around the blockchain. So I love to be here. That's a 1 million Bitcoin holders, crypto holders. So thanks to you guys.
Yeah, a small percentage, like 0.1%. But since you got to throw me on the bus, hey, I retweeted that out and got 64 likes. So I was very, very part. And you know what? Your success is my success. It's crypto's success. It's all our success. So we're all going to piggyback on that. But it's been a largely better day than it has been the last couple of days. Wednesday, hump day, is looking a little bit better. If we can actually pull up the trading view chart right here with our new awesome graphic. I'm gonna have to get used to it. I just want to stop talking and just watch it for the next 5 seconds. But yeah, we have a little bit of a bounce. We're looking at the 2-hour candles right here on TradingView. I wanted to pull that up for Bitcoin's price so we can get the quickest live segment right here. So it looks like maybe we're starting to get close to the overbought area. We might have a little capitulation. If we look at the markets in general, that's a pretty good, that's a good green day right there. I mean, no, I'm not talking about, what's his name? Joel, is it Armstrong? Joel, what's the Green Day singer's name? BJ, you got it. Billy Joel? No, it's not that. I don't.
Billy Joe
Armstrong. All right, I knew it was Armstrong. Is it Ben's cousin? I don't know. But if we go back to let's see, cryptocurrency market here, we got Bitcoin up 6.5%. We have Ethereum up 10%. I hope you didn't panic sell at the bottom. The bears are saying, oh, we hit below 3, so it's dumping straight to 22 or something like 1,800 even. So hopefully you held strong. Maybe you even bought the dip. I know Wendy was tweeting about buying the dip. Cardano, BJ, you're going to be happy about this one. Up 12%. XRP Army, always in the chat. Let's see some XRP Army in the chat. But if we look at some of the losers here, it's actually not much at all. Wow, look at that. Everything is pumping. Everything is green. You actually almost always see something falling 5-10% on these green days, but not today. ARWE fall up 27%. Terra Luna up 30%. Atom up 30%. Avalanche up 20%. If you spot traded and got in on the right coin, you're making some pretty good moves. Although most are down on the week, that isn't everything. Avalanche been having a fantastic week. Now, Wendy, it was looking scary. It bounced. It fell low. Then we have a little bit of support. What's looking good support to you? Is it the 42 area? Is it the 4,000 area?
You know what? I've been using the same chart for like a million years, it feels like, but we're really kind of just on the cusp, just as long as we can sustain above that $42,000 area. But again, we are testing pretty heavy resistance at about 43, 44. And again, I need to see like 56, or excuse me, 46 flipped into support here. But we are looking good. We are looking healthy. And we did get back above the EMA 200, but I'm not 100% convinced yet that we are out of the clear. And I do have bids set lower on things that I'm interested in investing in.
All right. When you said we need to make 46 support, I want to ask you, when we were above 46, we are kind of bouncing off of it. Did it look like support then? What would make it support to you? Would it be like after a bounce 3 times successfully, or 2 times, 5 times, or rockets past it? What would make it support?
I want to see like a nice candle close, like a really, really nice candle close. One of the things that was a little bit concerning about us sustaining above 46 back from, when is this? This is September 15th to approximately September 20th, was there just little tiny movements. It wasn't a whole lot of like really bullish, great price action. We had green candles, we had red candles, but they were really in this tight range between about 48 to about 47, 46,000. So even though we did have support over it, and when I talk about having support above a particular area of resistance or below support, whatever, I'm talking about candle closes. So even though we did have a bunch of candle closes above those important areas, they weren't very significant. Like when we had this move all the way up from July 20th, July 21st, they were pretty significant, and they were real. It was almost like, I think they call these a bullish engulfing candle, where it completely absorbs the negative price action of the candle prior to it. But we just kept making some beautiful upward action. And then even over here, August 3rd, similar thing. But this price action above 46 that we experienced last week wasn't too terribly bullish. It was more just like consolidation. So price could have pretty much gone here or there. And I know that's not helpful, but yeah.
I felt like we learned some bullish engulfing candle, the candle that totally obliterates the previous losses. I like that. All right, well, we got some great topics. Liquidations, fueling the dump. We have China bailout. Is this good for crypto? Stay tuned. And the question on everybody's mind, is this a bear market? There's a picket fence. We got 2 sides. Everyone's saying we're right. No, I'm right. You're wrong. No, I'm right. You don't know what you're talking about. We're going to find out. We're going to try to get to the bottom of it. But let's go right into the liquidations, fueling the dump. We had a lot of liquidations. Once again, J-Chains, if you're watching, he successfully closed his trade. He was in the red. He bought more of the bottom. You should never add to a losing position. But in this case, it worked out for him, and he ended up in the green. But he got mad at me for, oh, you and Brian brought up my all right, so J-Chains, you're the best trader here. All right, so it was 1.2 billion was liquidated in one day. Of that, over 80% were longs. That means around 17% were actually liquidated shorts. Tell me your liquidation. Tell me you're over leveraged without telling me you're over leveraged when you get liquidated on a short on a day where we're dropping 5-10%. But yeah, so it was going down. So mind your biz. Liquidations, it's one of the reasons, crypto does have such volatility. It fuels that rise up and it fuels that rise down. That dump down. If crypto didn't have these crazy parabolic swings, would it be as exciting for people, or would this, attract more people because it's safer? Oh, looks like sounded like you muted yourself right as you started talking there.
You know what? That may have just happened. So from the perspective of a miner, as far as there being this high degree of volatility and with markets like this, seeing these liquidations come in so heavy on a day like today, it's not as big a concern. In the business of mining, we have a couple different sides that we primarily focus on, and that is our dollar cost average subsidy, or the amount that we're actually getting discounted in the cryptocurrency, whatever the native asset is that we're mining at the time. We're not so much concerned about like, hey, what is the price of GBTC versus native assets? What is going on with derivatives? What exactly is the Fed money printer doing as of today, or what's going to happen next quarter with Fed money printing programs? We're a lot more concerned about how much of a discount am I getting on this native asset today? And of course, if I'm in the more speculative arena like GPU mining or this more esoteric form of mining, FPGA mining, what is it going to take for me to clear my initial CapEx as a business, right? Like I'm not so much concerned about the daily fluctuations or even the really intense volatility of a cryptocurrency. I'm a lot more concerned about the bottom line of my business. Am I going to see the business of mining be affected by this? And for the vast majority of miners, well, at least the miners who follow my channel or say Bitsby Trippin, Michael Carter, you're going to be paying attention to those sides of your business and you're going to stay safe. You're not going to lose your shirt when there's massive volatility. That said, for us in the markets like Ethereum, right? When the gas fee markets do that crazy volatility dance, you know, we're super happy because it directly affects our bottom line. We're the beneficiaries of really inflated gas fees. In Bitcoin and with some of these liquidations happening with people doing leverage trading, I mean, tomato. We just don't care for the most part in mining. But do I see it as what attracts the rest of retail and the investing space and the more intelligent heads in the room, and certainly in this live stream today? Well, yeah, and I'm happy that everybody else is here and that they're drawing interest to these volatile markets, because if not, then you know what would we be mining for anyway? What would we be securing with mining anyway?
Yeah, I like that. Well, let's talk about these volatile markets. You know, they are popping, they're popping hard. And just as we saw in the beginning of the show, you know, Bitcoin might move 5%. Sometimes that'll mean Ethereum is 10%. But then you're going to have these alts, they're moving 20%. So when we're talking about, you know, these people are getting wrecked, they're getting liquidated. Not all the liquidations were Bitcoin that were happening. Now, Joe, there's a lot of alts that, you know, maybe you can trade on some of these, or even just spot trade on some of these other markets. What are some of the coins that interest you that kind of correlate with Bitcoin or Ethereum, but, you know, maybe the pumps are twice as hard, but also the dumps are twice as hard? So if someone were, you know, to want to try to jump in and get something that maybe makes some of this life-changing money, what kind of alts are on your radar?
Well, thank you again for having me back on the show, DZ. Really appreciate it. And shout out to the BitSquad for being here. When it comes to altcoins, yes, it's a very dangerous market, just as leverage trading is. But we had an altcoin that I've been talking about for the last couple of days do over 100x today. And that's with the market obviously turning back green, which was helpful. But overall, the sentiment, fear and greed index has been kind of low. And that altcoin was called Valus Pad. And that altcoin incubates new projects. And so if you're looking to kind of get in early and start, you know, maybe getting a little bit riskier, one of the best ways to make money with cryptocurrency is through finding new projects. And an incubator or a launch pad is basically like a Kickstarter for these new cryptocurrency altcoins. And Valus is actually a fork of Lana. And we all know how Solana has been doing. And so that right there, since I started talking about Valus, has doubled in price. It's actually doing quite well. So if you're interested in like, hey, what's the next kind of, you know, sleeper Solana coin, that one I would definitely take a look at. They are really building some amazing stuff over there, which leads me into Valus Pad, which is their incubator and launch pad, which is going to be incubating a ton more cryptocurrencies. And yes, I do want to say though, you can definitely get as wrecked, if not even more wrecked, in some of these altcoin gems because their markets are much lower. And so please be aware that, you know, you're not buying into these top 10 cryptocurrencies or top 20 where, you know, a 5 or 10% move, doesn't really affect you too much. Some of these, you know, new altcoin gems, they can move 50, 60, 70, 80%, even 90%. But that's where the opportunity to the upside also lies, right? So we had 100x today. Pre-sellers ended up buying the cryptocurrency for literally less than a fraction of a penny. It's now sitting at 50 cents. And so to me, that's the game that I enjoy playing. Yeah, I mean, definitely check it out. It was trending on CoinGecko today. It was trending #1 on Dex Tools for a while. So the proof is in the pudding, right?
All right,
so
nice.
definitely, if you,
Nice little gem. Just to be clear, it's a Solana fork, and it's called, just spell it out for us real quick.
VELAS. So Valus is the blockchain, right? So and then Valus Pad. Yeah, Valus Pad is like the incubator underneath it. So think of like Polka Starter and
yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll definitely have to check that out, man. I almost wish I had a pen so I could make a note. All right. Well, we're about to talk to the $1 million man right here. So let's talk about some of these stats, you know, going on with these liquidations. It was the biggest loss. One whale lost $10 million on a liquidation, a $10 million loss. Now, let's ask Ted DiBiase's long-lost triplet here, the $1 million man himself, kiss stealing, you know, wheeling dealing here. So with these I mean, we got a whale. They lost $10 million. Do you think this is just some like Bitcoin OG degen, or do you think this is maybe some of those more risk tolerant institutions maybe entering the market and playing with money that they maybe shouldn't be playing with?
First off, great to be back. Love when Altcoin Daily is around the blockchain, and that's the 1 million subscriber. But to answer your question, I would say if you're playing with fire, then you have a whole lot better chance of getting burned than if you're not playing with fire. Now, the safest strategy for cryptocurrency that has the least risk, most upside, is obviously the HODL, right? You hold for a long period of time of projects that have asymmetrical upside, and then you'll probably do pretty well. Now, obviously, people they want potentially higher rewards. They're willing to take on a little more risk. And that person that lost $10 million, whatever stat you just said, it's outrageous. I think that would be a bad day for that trader.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree.
Think about this though, DZ. Like if I told you, hey, this altcoin went from, I guess my point is it all depends on what you have. Like, I don't know the qualifications of that trader, but if I told you about, hey, there's a coin that went from $4.70 and a dip down, a nasty dip to $3.90, you'd be like, that's crypto. That's par for the course.
Yep.
Now times that by 10,000, Bitcoin went from $47,000 dipped to $39,000 and is sort of leveling out. So I guess point is we're seeing these high valuations of all these leverage trading because that's where we are in the market. We're just, we're so much more mature than we were 4 years ago, which means we're going to see numbers like this. But from a percentage point of view, nothing's really changed in volatility than, 5 years ago.
Yeah, and just with the parting message on this topic, I mean, if you are leverage trading, just deleverage as much as you can. That still makes it slightly fun for you, and just be ready. You could get wrecked. You could lose everything. Not everyone's crypto face. We do recommend use some sort of indicator. You go to bitcoin.deals. I mean, there's a market Cipher one there. There's like free ones on YouTube. They're not going to be as good, but please be careful. And it's a losing game for most people. Just a warning. But let's go to the second topic here. China bailout. I mean, is this going to be the reason that everything starts pumping here? So the Chinese bank, they injected capital. We saw it in 2008 in America. We saw it in Greece a few years back. It's a common thing for, this current economy that we are living in. They put in, I'm not even going to tell you in won, it was 120 billion. I'm going to say it anyways, but it was $19 billion in, US dollars was the equivalent of what they injected there. Now, Wendy, I know you love, talking about overregulation and, the government stepping in and maybe stepping in when they shouldn't be stepping in. Do you think that China can let Evergrande fail?
No, they can't, because if they let Evergrande.
Is that, I'm still on the fence. Is it Evergrande? I don't know. I'm born near the Rio Grande. I maybe even crossed it. I don't know.
It's Ariana.
It's
Ariana.
Like Grande. Okay.
Yes.
I went full-blown Mexican reference there. I don't know why. My last name is Valdez. I can say that. It's okay. Go ahead, Wendy.
Oh, well, my daughter's Mexican too, but it's so funny because it's like we don't know how to pronounce it. But anyways, they can go ahead and inject all this money in, but what's going to happen is it's just going to help, or it's just going to continue to push back the eventual collapse. Like, how long is it going to take until everything collapses? We're propping things up with fake money that we are printing out. Like, how crazy is that? Can you imagine being in your household with your partner, having a family with kids, like, we need to, we want to buy this. And let's say you don't have access to your credit card, but you just go ahead and get a piece of paper and you write, like, I have $1 million, and you go in and you buy whatever it is you want. Like, this is the type of logic we're seeing out of China right now, out of the United States and a lot of these other countries. It doesn't make sense. You can't, they're literally printing money or developing money from nothing, like absolutely nothing. And to me, it is just the most bizarre thing in the world ever. Like, I was brought up with very strict, my mom used to save for everything and always had cash on hand to pay for things. If she didn't have the cash, we wouldn't buy things. But it's so crazy for me to see all these elites, these fancy suit Fs, be able to do this, and then they pass it back on to the poor people, the plebs, people like myself. Like, it's just bananas. It's gonna end up falling.
All right, we'll see. I'm gonna take it to Mind Your Biz. I want to read a comment for you. Mining is dangerous. people die. I don't think that's the type of mining we're talking about. Okay, you don't know what you're talking about. It's a different kind of mining, people.
You're not wrong when
yeah,
you,
there has been. Yeah, I
when you
forgot.
see-
There's that guy's apartment in China or South Korea or something. It was.
Well, at the mid-scale also, when you have a live wire coming off a high voltage pole, and the guy that you hire, the roughneck guy that you hired at an hourly wage, is calling you like, "Hey, boss, what do you want me to do? Should I grab it?" Yeah, people do actually die in like crypto mining too. It's tragic. It's preventable.
Yeah,
but
I want to ask you. So it's not just China is buying up this Evergrande debt. There's also American companies, including a name that Ben is certainly familiar with, BlackRock. BlackRock was one of the largest buyers of the shares from as far as Western countries, HSBC, so other giant Western banks. We're not going to get into them all, but so we have Western companies buying up this, Chinese debt. Essentially, we're trying to, hopefully the market doesn't fail. Should we be happy or worried that we have these Western companies, buying up this debt?
In my opinion, and again, this is from the perspective of somebody who's really focused on a bit more of like the blue collar pursuits of crypto, and that is like earning your own, right? With proof of work mining. Just throwing that out there. So take this with a grain of salt. But from my perspective, it's not good to see larger institutions buying, regardless of where they're from, whether they're from the East or the West. They have a bit of a centralizing effect on what was intended to be a bearer asset and a sovereign asset that's meant to empower the individual to get away from the control of institutions. So I don't care if it's BlackRock, I don't care if it's Grayscale, heck, call them Blackwater. They're about as evil, in my opinion, as some of these other, these other third-party contractors that go in and do the dirty work, so to speak, of dealing with the regulators and cutting through all that red tape and getting stuff done, for us because we can't take care of ourselves. I'm a little bit concerned about institutions like these coming in because they're the ones that are sopping up all the blood, right? So when there's blood in the streets, right, even if it's your own, these guys, this is their playbook. They do this every day, and they do it with borrowed money. In some cases at 0%. They have advantages that we can't possibly hope to obtain. So again, take it with a grain of salt. That's just my view on it. I would far rather that everybody in the world own their own assets, whether they're real or in cryptocurrencies. And I'd far rather that if you can't go in heavy, that you at least find a way to build up some strategy where you can get some kind of access, even if it's fractional ownership of real estate and other assets. I'm not a big fan of seeing companies or institutions rather of this scale come in and buy everything out literally from under retail's feet. So and can I tell you how I really feel?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
All right.
Well, speaking of fractional ownership, hey, companies, you can own a fraction of a Bitcoin. And surprisingly, some viewers still need to hear that. Now, Altcoin Daily, let's assume that, the Western companies, they're bailing them out. We got China government. We're propping them up. We're buying all their debt. If there is a bailout of Evergrande, can we expect this to pump the market?
I think that, first off, I don't think China can afford to let Evergrande fail. And it's only because we have shown in the United States, with all those bailouts for the last 10, 20 years, in England, all over the world, all these represented or not people, a representative or not people in power, they're willing to sacrifice. They're willing to say, we want to benefit the short term instead of having delayed gratification for what's healthier in the long term. So China, for example, they could easily let Evergrande fail because it's a bad company. They took on bad debt. They're garbage. They should be gone. But they can't. But because every other place in the world bails everything out, they can't afford to have their economy go down first. Because especially in a communist regime under a dictatorship, that's when uprisings happen. That's where people get dissatisfied with the current government and they want to switch things up. So they won't allow it. Now, should we be scared? Luckily, we have, a silent, peaceful way to opt out. This is exactly why Bitcoin was invented. Thank God. But I guess we just have to watch them kick the can down the road as this gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Right now, it's a $19 billion bailout. 10 years from now, what if it's 100 billion? What if it's 200 billion? And what if it's not just China? That's why I accumulate Bitcoin.
All right, well, let's stay on that for a second because I remember Lehman Brothers. We're all probably old enough to kind of be paying a little bit of attention back then. So it started with Lehman's, and then it was a domino effect. Then it was another housing company, then a banking company, then a car company, and another car company, and it just escalated. Next company, next company, next company. Joe, do you think we might be seeing something similar here where, oh, all of a sudden you see the company or the company next to you getting bailed out and you say, hey, we need one too. Is this a concern of yours?
Honestly, I'm gonna go the other direction on this. I don't. This
Okay.
is it is a concern for sure, but I think a lot of people are paying way too close of attention to this, right? I think that we really need to take a step back and go, okay, this is just one news story. This is just one thing that's happened. Yeah, it does have some impact, but let's really zoom out on the entire market and the entire global economics itself, right? This is just China. This is just one thing. And yes, it is Evergrande, right? It's a big one, but definitely, I'm thinking to myself here that we're still very in the thick of this bull run, right? And I do believe that, yeah, this could, spiral into more companies just wanting bailouts and just more free money. But we've been through that for the last year and a half, right? I think at some point, everything is going to shift, right? We're going to go into deflation. I know Ben talks about that a lot. I'm in Ben's spot today in the upper left-hand corner, so got to bring some Ben out. And he talks about deflation all the time. I see it coming. I do think that with the inflation and the money printing and the giving away of all this stuff is going to go away. I think it's going to go away sooner than people want it to. And we're going to see some implications from that. So I like to think one step ahead, right? It's like this Evergrande thing, it happened, they bailed it out, the market seemed to recover. What's next though, right? So that's where I want people thinking is like, okay, one story, let's not get too hung up on it. What's the next thing that we can control? What can we do? And then from there, plan accordingly.
All right, I like that. We're going to go to the last topic. I want to read something from the chat here. Ryan Bowling, money is free. We print it out of thin air. Hey, it costs at least probably a penny worth of paper and ink there. And fun fact, if a penny is older than 1982, it is worth more than a penny just in the copper. But don't melt it down. I think it's illegal. But you can actually like find this out on eBay. They'll sell $500 worth of pennies for like $700. So it's pretty funny. But it's illegal to melt it down, so don't you do that. All right, we're going to go to the last topic here. I'm not recommending it. Is this a bear market? The question, I'm hearing the whispers like Varys. The whispers are out there. I'm just going to cut right to the chase. I'm going to ask everybody. Wendy, is this a bear market?
It is not a bear market. I actually covered it on my show today, and I did a pretty good explanation on the chart. But I don't think it's a bear market in any way, shape, or form. If you look at the previous drops that we've had when we actually were in a bear market, and I'm just going to take a second to share my screen too, because I can do that. Where is my Chrome tab? Here is the chart. These were like kind of the historic like bear cycles, bearish price actions that we've seen, and every single time we've had these drops, we broke out and then we went back up. So this happened. It was about 455 days of bearish action. Then we had another one, it was about 214 days bearish action. But if you look at this recent drop we had, and again, you guys, these are the monthly candles. And if you look at the recent drop that we had, we actually popped up fairly fast. I want to say it was maybe like 122 days or like 92 days. This to me is not telling me bear market at all, any way, shape, or form. But I'm not, just because I don't think we're in a bear market doesn't mean we're not going to have bearish swings or some volatility. But I just don't think we're in a bear market. I would kind of need to see us like retrace all the way back down, maybe to 34.6, or even get below $30,000 in order to really think that is a bear market. We're just having some bearish price action right now, if you want to even call that. And again, this is the monthly chart.
Yeah, and that's on a normal scale. And just a shout out to Benjamin Cowan yesterday. Ben did an interview yesterday. It's really good numbers. You should definitely check it out. If that was on a logarithmic scale, it would further, indicate your point there that, yeah, I mean, this is maybe not something that we should worry about too much. So I'm asking everybody, Altcoin Daily, is this a bear market?
I goddamn hope so. I would love that for a chance to
accumulate.
I
was not expecting that. You get 2 points for that one.
Well, let me ask you this, DZ. Did you ever, I mean, guess rhetorical, we don't have to go back and forth, but did you ever plan to cash out at $60,000 Bitcoin? No.
I was frothing at the mouth and drinking my own Kool-Aid and saying, back then people believed 300, 200. And I never really believed 3, but I was definitely like 170s in the book. So no, to answer your question, no.
Exactly. And from a fundamental point of view, give me a reason to be bearish. Nothing has fundamentally changed except for price. Now, you could say regulation. And that might be bad for that random altcoin with the anonymous team, that you're hoping for the pump. But for Bitcoin, for some of these, older legacy ones that we're already seeing adoption, no, regulation would be great for Bitcoin. So the only thing that I see bearish compared to 3 months ago is price. Everything else bullish. And, whether if we go into a bear market and that gives me 6 more months to accumulate, to me, it is inevitable that Bitcoin gets to 100K, that these Web3s, the Ethereums, the Cardano, the Polkadots, Solanas, whatever, the basket, Web3 is here to stay. Those things will do well. So if a bear market gives me a little more time to accumulate, I would take advantage. I don't think we're going into a bear market, but I would accept that opportunity if we did.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm telling myself. Like, well, just look at 3 years of accumulation. Mind your biz.
And by the way, that's me talking to myself in the mirror every morning. So
that's me bolting upright like a vampire, screaming in the middle of the night in my dark bedroom all alone. That was a sound clip. Mind your biz. I want to ask you with perhaps, like, I don't know if do you look at any of the on-chain analytics with the miners dumping their Bitcoin? Is there any kind of indicator that's like saying like, this is a bull market or this is a bear market, maybe based off of those numbers?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to say something. This is totally uncontroversial. So crypto miners are like the bro science dudes of crypto, right? So the bodybuilders of the 1970s and 80s, what did they do? They ate steak. They hung out in the sun. They drank cod liver oil and talked about vitamin D supplementation. And then doctors started talking about it 10, 15 years later. So crypto miners, they're the canaries in the coal mine is what I'm really saying. Do what they do, not what anybody else says. I mean, barring maybe Wendy, she's a pretty smart gal. So there you go. But it's mostly the tattoo. I'm just saying, right? Even that, it's the transitive properties of tattoos that makes her so intelligent. So do what you see.
Hold on, I got to interrupt you really quick. Since the chat told me I don't know how to make tacos, I actually know how to make very good tacos and beans. But I actually paid for this tattoo with a Jack in the Box taco. That's all. Go ahead.
That's next level. Okay, like I'm saying, serious alpha there, guys. I mean, that's why you come here, right? So, like, but if you do what the crypto miners do, they're hodling. They're not selling a thing. They do not dare give up a single Satoshi to these conditions. And that should tell you something. When these people literally make their living in crypto only, right? So if the large industrial miners, the enterprise level miners that are at the mid scale and above, and we talked about that on the channel, what exactly that means in terms of CapEx and ongoing expenses, if they're not selling a single Bitcoin or a single Satoshi, what do they know that everybody else doesn't? Well, they've seen this a little bit longer, or their livelihood totally depends on some kind of a market reversal. Now, without me talking about targets, I don't want to speak outside of my expertise or my ability. I think that there's a bit of wisdom in what miners are doing. And to answer your question as plainly as possible, that's what they're doing.
All right. And Joe, I'm bringing it to you. You're in Ben's hot seat. You have the green background. So I'm thinking I know where you're leaning here. Are we in a bear market?
I'm going to say not yet, right?
Okay.
And the reason for that is I'm going to bring up Plan B's tweet. He tweeted this back, I think, in June or July, August, somewhere time in the summer. And he said, and he called out 47,000 in August, 43 close in September, and then it was going to go to 60 to 80 to 100. And to me, it's been spot on, like completely spot on. And so I have no reason to believe right now we are in a bear market. We're seeing coins, like I said today, go 100x. We've seen a very green recovery today overall. So honestly, I don't think we're in a bear market yet, but until proven otherwise, right? I think it's very important if we get a close at like 37,000 at the end of the month, we're all going to be kind of shaking our heads going, what happened, right? Then we got to reevaluate. And so to me, it's not there yet. We're still, do the course, right? Stick to the plan, right? Stick to Plan B's plan, stick to the plan. And I think we're going to be okay here. This, like Altcoin Daily said, is another opportunity. I really do believe that when dips happen like this, and you look at Solana, went over $200. Now it went down to like 111. I mean, there's your entry point. That's what you're looking for potentially. And so again, not financial advice to anyone here on the channel, but if you're looking for opportunities, it's typically buy the red, sell the green. So that's my take.
I like that. I do want to just, offer a little bit. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Not Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino. you're saying, oh, we had a coin do 100x. I will say this, I remember 2018, early 2018, the ICOs were popping, and that was a common argument. It's February 2018. It can't be the bear market because this ICO just popped 100x. Just go ahead, Wendy. You want to add something?
All I'm going to say, I think it's great to invest in whatever it is that makes you happy, but I am telling you guys, in the beginning, when these things start pumping, consider removing your initial investment and profit, create Moonbag, and then hold that thing till the wheels comes off, if that's what you want to do. But do not practice risk management. It is going to end very poorly, because if or when we are in a bear market, we are not going to know. I'm not going to know. Your other favorite TA person is not going to know. It generally hits when we are in the middle of the bear market, and then we realize, oh, we're in a bear market. I should have been taking profit, and you're not going to get a chance to remove the initial out of that particular project. And we're also seeing a lot of projects from 2017, 2018 that still have not fully recovered. That's it.
Yeah. And I totally agree. And not getting that last 20% pump feels nothing like when it dumps 20% overnight, and you're just like, you start feeling that, oh my God, I didn't get out. Like, always just be happy for the people who got that last 10%. All right, last question here. We're talking about the fear index. We just hit a bad level for the fear index. This is a level we haven't seen since late July, when Bitcoin dipped below 30,000. It went into extreme fear. We can talk about the technicals, but the number was 21 into the extreme fear level. Now, Altcoin Daily, I know you say, I sure hope so, but some people, they are a little bit worried. Maybe they bought Bitcoin at 58,000, 60,000. For the people who are feeling extreme fear, they want to sell at a loss. Do you have any words of advice for them?
Well, I would say that I think you're exactly right, that the big reason that fear index is like that is because a lot of people were onboarded into cryptocurrency in this last year in the run up between 20K and 65K. Because if you look 1 year ago, not year to date, but a year from now, Bitcoin's way up. Bitcoin was like $10,400 a year ago. And obviously, it sucks if you bought in for the first time ever when Bitcoin was at 55,000 or above. But that is where the fear is right now, because those long-term hodlers have seen this volatility over and over and over again. So if you're new, I would say, honestly, the times to buy are when Bitcoin is on the way down, and the times to think about selling is when Bitcoin's on the way up. And you can translate that into your favorite altcoin. But there's no better strategy than the hodl.
All right, so basically, as long-term hodlers are dead inside, I'm picking up what you're putting down there. For reference, my first coin bought years ago was XRP, so I've been dead inside for many, many years. But all right, that's all we got time for today. Looks like the million sub man is here with the winning amount of points, 21, just edging out Mind Your Biz with a little thing there. And Wendy chat definitely is so fixated on you and tacos. You're gonna have to tell that story next time, maybe. So, all right, Altcoin Daily, you got about 30 seconds. Give us some parting thoughts, and again, congrats on the 1 million subs.
Thank you, guys. 1 million subs is awesome. That is 1 million Bitcoin holders strong. But 1 million is not the end. This is just the beginning. I want to thank Around the Blockchain and every single person on this panel: Joe, Mind Your Biz, Wendy, and of course DZ. Like always, see you tomorrow.
Links in the description. This was the best episode ever, as altcoin, exactly as he predicted. And that's all we got time for. We'll be back tomorrow later on BitSquad. Peace out.
Smash the like, guys.